will once they join the call, no problem. They can at least continue. It won't be a new to them because they already attended the initial sessions. So no problem. Okay, let me start. Let me share my screen. Let me know once you're able to see my screen. So you're able to see my screen. My voice is audible.
Yes.
Okay. So last session we discussed about what is ERP and what is SAP, what is the origin of SAP and how it evolves and what are the benefits and the disadvantages of SAP and so on. So it is also a kind of following with the last class. Like just I'm going to give a basic information here uh, because a few more people they joined, they have not attended the initial session. So for them, it would be easy to understand what we discussed about. I'll be a little quick. Why? Because these information I already given to you in the last session. So first, we should know about the versions of SAP. Like the SAP, if you see, they have come across many versions. So specific to these are very open to the everyone. These these versions and all. For example, the first it starts with the 4.6C, and again it evolved to 4.7 EE. That E is they generally say like enterprise edition, and next from 4.7 EE it is evolved to ECC 5.0. There it comes enterprise core or central component. Either they will pronounce that as a core component or central component. And again from ECC 5 to 6 it evolved. It is also the same enterprise core or central component. Then slowly it moved from ECC 6 to NetWeaver concepts like 7.0, and now it almost like SAP S4 HANA. And if we take about modules in SAP, as I said in the previous session, like these modules is divided into two different ways. One is like a technical modules, another one is a functional modules. So the technical modules, below the technical modules, will have a basis administration, security and GRC administration, and ABAP. So basis administration are generally like a person who is responsible to maintain the SAP servers. The end-to-end server maintenance would be handled by the SAP basis administration. So whatever issue you face in the server, basis administrator would be the responsible person. Security and GRC administration. This is the person, we are the security and GRC. We are the person who uh, stand like a guard, and we should decide like who should get the access to the system and who should not get the access, what kind of access the user should have in the system. Everything is determined by our team, security and the GRC admin. And the third technical module, I can say like ABAP. ABAP is Advanced Business Application Programming. Generally, the coding activity would be managed and done by the ABAP team. So if any standard to be modified or customized according to the business requirement, the ABAP team will involve and they will copy the standard code and they will do the modification as per the business requirement. And if we talk about the other one, functional modules, we have several functional modules like finance, financial accounting, controlling, asset accounting, sales and distribution, material management, production planning, quality management, project systems, production planning, plant maintenance, HR, like this. So generally, any organization, they will have these all, almost it will have all the departments like this. So these technical and the functional model, everyone has to interconnected between each other to fulfill the business requirement. So generally, in a functional area, we have a marketing and sales department, and the finance department will have, and same with the HR department will be there, and the production department would be there, and the quality maintenance management, like that. We have a different department that comes in the functional modules. So again, to brief you, like this systems, initially it starts with the, there are three ways. Like initially, the SAP, they starts with the single system landscape. The single system landscape is typically used for the, like the same system, the development, testing and the production activity was happen. Then later they realize it is not up to the mark. Like the if someone requests something, the time taking was very high. So what they decided, they have made that single system landscape to the two system landscape. The two system landscape is something they planned better. We will have a development and quality assurance in one separate system, and we will keep the production system separate so that our data would be safe and it won't be tampered by the other peoples, those are working in that system. And finally, they come back with the three system landscape, because even the two system landscape also, the time of request requested by the requester and the uh, result we get, it is also delayed due to many developers would work in the development part, and a few testers, they will work in the quality part, and the production, the live data might be tampered. So any unknowingly or knowingly, they can change the production environment data. So that's why they comes with the idea to have it in the three system landscape. So development, quality and production. So development, generally the developers, they log into the development environment, they do their development activities, and they have a separate system called testing, quality system. There the testers will go and make assure, like whatever changes is done, it is absolutely as per the business requirement. And finally, the production, it is the live data, everything is stored and modified in the production environment, where we will have the accurate and correct data in the production. So if you see this SAP architecture, so it would be looks like this. So it will be a single tier configuration, two tier and three tier. So first, initially, all database application and presentation, everything would be in a one way. So what happened? The response time of the request would takes more time. Then again, they changed to two tier. That time, what happened? The presentation process and the database, they separated. So in this case, what happened? Like the developers and the testers, they will work in same environment, and the production, they separated. Then later they realize it should be a three-way. We will keep a separate development environment, separate quality and separate database, so that the response time would be faster. Here, you should also know about the dispatcher. Dispatcher is the one, here specifically, when we talk about this area, whatever the request comes from the requester to the database, and from database, it will fetch the information and give it back to the requester. In between, we will have a dispatcher. It plays a vital role. A dispatcher refers to a core component that manages and distributes the incoming request to work process or applications. So the dispatcher duty is to distribute the work. whatever the request comes from the requester, its responsibility to distribute the incoming request, and it has to decide this request belongs to which work process and where it should go. So generally we have, as I said in the previous session, we have 7 work process: dialog work process, update work process, background work process, NQ work process, spool work process, message server, and a gateway. These are the 7 types of work process. So whenever any request comes from the requester, the dispatcher will decide, oh, this request is related to a dialog work process, and it will push to the dialog work process. If any request comes from the requester to update the table, then it will understand and the dispatcher will push to the update work process. And the same way, if any background jobs are scheduled or any background activity we are doing, the dispatcher is responsible to distribute that background job to the background work process. And NQ is the work process where it is to lock a table. See, generally, whatever the changes we do in the database, that would be done in the table level. The changes would be done in the table level. So if any user, they are doing any changes in specific table, the other user cannot do any modification in that same table. For that, the NQ work process will lock the table, so that once I complete my changes and come out of the server, then only the same table would be accessed by the other users until it will be in a display mode only. And here a spool work process is specific to the output devices. Like if you want to give any print or any output information from SAP to a physical form, the spool work process would support. Message server and the gateway. Message server, it facilitates the communication between the application server. For example, like if we see here, in this case, this application servers may be not one in the 3 tier. It may be depends upon the volume of the users we use in the our system. We can increase the application server 1 to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. So the message server would do the will help to communicate between the application servers and the gateway work process. The gateway work process enables the communication between what work process, but not the internal SAP, even outside external programs and the other SAP systems. Even to non-SAP systems, this gateway work process would help to communicate. Guys, you're okay now, or I'm going little fast? Because I already given few inputs about this, so that's why I'm just moving fast. Are you okay? Like, can I proceed, or you have any questions or doubts? Anyone? So silent indicates like no questions. Okay, I'll proceed then. Now we have to also know about the environments in SAP. So as I said, primarily all the organization would have 3 environments in SAP. That is development, quality, and production. But it can be vary in the different organizations. For example, development, quality, pre-production, and production. That might be the case. Some organization, they may have a development environment, quality environment, and production environment. And prior to the production environment, they will keep a pre-production environment also. Why? Because this might help them. Like if in case before they move any informations or data or any customizing changes to production, they will again retest in the pre-production environment, and they will check whether everything what we expect, what we are going to expect in the production, the same way it is in the pre-production. Once they satisfied with the testing and all the requirement changes in the pre-production environment, then they will move those changes to the production environment. Ideally, development, quality, production are the very common, but few organization to have, that is one more reason, like to have a same copy like production, they will keep a pre-production environment also, so that it is helpful for them. In case in future something they want to refer, they can do all everything in the pre-production environment instead of disturbing the production environment. Okay, just if you have any notebooks or pen, just kindly note it down. I'll give some one line information like what is development environment. Maybe I'll give 1 minute time to pick your pen or book. If you have, it is good. Guys, anyone can confirm? Can I proceed? Okay. So development environment. What is development environment? Development environment is where programmers and consultants carry out the customization of the ERP functionalities based on company's requirement. I repeat, development environment is where programmers and consultants carry out the customization of the ERP functionalities based on the company's requirement. Which means what I'm trying to say, like basically where the changes are originally made in the development environment. So what happened once the developers and consultants have done their development in the development environment, they have to capture that and they have to capture those changes in a transport request, and they have to move that to the other environment called quality system, test environment. Is it understandable? Okay. I'll tell about quality. Quality environment is where the core team members and other staff test the customization of the software design and program. I'll repeat, quality environment is where the core team members and other staff test the customization of the software design and program. So the same what they do once they done their testing in the quality environment, they will confirm the same to the developers, saying like the quality testing was fine. So you can move the changes to the production. So the changes are already captured in a transport request. So through that, they will again initiate to move those changes to the production environment. So what is then production environment means? Production environment is where the real-time data of a company is recorded and stored. I repeat again, production environment is where the real-time data of a company is recorded and stored. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, it is noted. So now we jump into what is client. So generally, to log into any SAP environment, we need SAP logon pad. I'll show you once we complete this theory part. So we need a SAP logon pad. With the help of SAP logon pad, we will choose the system and we will try to log into the SAP environment. So while log into the SAP environment, client is one of the important one, which without this client, we cannot enter into the SAP environment at all. So generally, what is a client in SAP? A client is defined as a legally and organizationally independent unit within SAP R3 environment. It is used to separate data, and a client is denoted by a 3-character numeric code in SAP. It may be anything, like it starts from 000 to 999. Anything can be your client number, but it should be always a numeric. 3 standard clients are, as I told you, like the default clients. Once we do the implementation of SAP, we have 3 default clients, that is 000, 001, and 066 in SAP R3 environment. Guys, you understand, right? Or I'm going a little fast or very slow? Please let me know. Accordingly, I will change the pace of the sessions training. Okay, so as I said, default standard claims are 3: 000, 001, and 066. Kindly note it down. 000, the client 000 contains all standard configurations, comma parameters, comma standard transactions, etc., that are normally used in SAP R3 business environment. So I repeat again, client 000 contains all standard configurations, comma parameters, comma standard transactions, etc., that are normally used in the SAP R3 business environment. This client 000 is also called as golden client. Client 000 is also called as golden client. It is used as source to create a new client. Client 000 is used as a source to create a new client. And if we talk about client 001, client 001 is just a copy of 000. Client 001 is just a copy of 000. It is also called as a backup of golden client. It is a backup of golden client, that is 000. And 066. So the client 066 indicates like this client is also called as the early watch client. The 066, we'll call this as a early watch client. And this client is purely a service client that enables SAP to access remotely. The client is purely a service client that enables SAP to access remotely the customer system with regards to analyzing errors and performance. If we face any problems in the SAP systems, or if we face any performance issue or any bug, so SAP would use this early watch client 066 to log into our business environment and fix the issue. So here these three comes in the non-IDAS. But there is one more concept called IDAS. IDAS is nothing but it's a kind of a training server where we will have all the sample data to use for customers. Real time R3 stands for the real time. There you don't find any data, only business data. You have to import the business data and you have to do the customizing as per the business need. But IDAS is the server where it contains the sample data already. So using that sample data, we can do some kind of uh, sampling or testing, something like that. Generally in the real time, they don't use this IDAS concept. Only non-IDAS system, R3 system they use. So this IDAS system, whenever we implement, it would be in a client 800. So we should not create any client 800 in our non-IDAS system, which if you say in the interview also, they think like you are not working in a real time. You're just working in some training system only, not the original R3 system. So the IDAS stands for Internet Demonstration and Evaluation System. Okay, we saw about default clients. The same way I'm going to say something about default users. So this default users, I already told, like SAP Star, DDIC, Early Watch, SAP CPIC, and TMS ADM. These are the default users will be there after implement the SAP system. Once we complete our implementation SAP system, how that the three default client 00001 and 066 exist, the same way these default users will also exist in the system. With using this default system only, be able to log into the system and create our own users as per the business requirement. Guys, you got it? Any questions?
Like, we don't use any user IDs like this. Like,
Naresh, your voice is breaking.
we will use this user IDs is a default, or you will not use anything like this one, like
These
SAP, Early Watch.
okay, these user IDs we don't use, but it would be used by the basis team, because once you implement the server, we will have the default client. Using the default client, they log into the system. They will create a separate client for our business, and using this default users, they will go and create users who already the employee of the organization, because these without these users and these default client and default user, no one can enter into the system, right? So basis team responsibility is to use these default clients and the default users, and they log into the system according to the business requirement. My organization might have 500 employees. They will create they will go and do the background activities, and they will do all the performance check, everything here. After that, once they provide the business client to us. For example, the business client would be like from 000, they will do a copy 100 as a business client. From that 100, we will start create the users. That 500 employees in that environment, likewise.
Okay, they
So
will take as the default users, or they will take basic needs. Then we will start that one. Okay,
exactly,
right?
they will start with the default users, then they will give to us. Then later we will start
Yeah.
creating the users,
Okay.
whoever needed in the in the business. Yes. So here, okay, how do we log in? See, for example, if you want to log into any system, SAP system, as I told, client is important and User is important. The same way, without entering the password, they cannot log into the system. So how do we know which password is the right one? For that, we have a default passwords also. You can note it down. That might help you. Like, it is actually not our task to know these information, but as a SAP consultant, if you also know these information, that is really help you. Sometime during interview, they might ask how you log into SAP system with the default client and default users. So, for example, the default client 000001 and 066, the password would be 06071992. What is the 06071992? It is nothing but the SAP, as I said in the previous session, the 4 IBM employees, they formed or they come out from the IBM, they started this ERP, that SAP program. So the date when they come out and they started is the date 06071992, 1992, 6th July. And if any new client is created, for example, 100, the password would be PASS for that. We should not use this default password. We have to use the password as PASS. And for 000001, again 19920706. That is just a reverse way. How this given, like first you see 06071992, and the second you will use 19920706 as a password. And 066 we will use a password as support, SUPPORT, as a password. And same way, like for this TMS ADM also, maybe if I should have put it in another way so that you will understand better way. So what I'm trying to say, like the first, if any client use the basis team use like 000001 or 066 with SAP star user, then password would be this 06071992. And newly created client with SAP star, the password would be PASS. And if any basis person, he tried to use 000 or 001 using DDIC user, then the password would be reverse 1992 and 0706. And the for 066, if they use early watch as a username, and the password would be support. The same for admin, like 001006 or whatever they use with the SAP CPIC as a username, then they have to use as a admin as a password. And for installing set the transport management system, they go with the 000 client, use TMS admin as a user, and they will set the password during the installation only. While doing the installation, they will set they will set it like some 8-digit as a password. So that password they will use it for TMS configuration, transport management configuration. Is it clear? Like, and you also see the description. The SAP star stands for SAP system. It is called a super user. And the DDIC, if you take, it is a ABAP dictionary and the software logic super user. And early watch. The early watch is a dialog user for a SAP early watch alert service in client 066. And SAP CPIC is a remote connections. For remote connections, they will use this user. And TMS ADM is specifically used for a transport management configuration, users for transport management systems. Can I move forward? You already noted down this. Anyone can confirm? Okay, silence I take like you have already done it. Okay. Now, once you entered in, as I said, while entering into SAP system, we need a client number, username, and password. Yes. The same way, we also how we request whatever I need something. If you need something, what do you do generally? You go to Google, you type, you will get the result. The same way inside SAP, if I want something, how do I request? Using the transaction codes. So what is transaction codes? Generally, SAP transaction code can be shortly called as T codes. In the SAP terminology, they will called shortly as a T codes. So SAP T codes are short alphanumeric codes that act as shortcut to execute specific transactions within the SAP systems. So within SAP systems, if you give any request, general request, if you want to know, you go to the Google, you will type, you will get the result. But inside SAP, if you want any data or any information, business information or business data, we have to communicate using the transaction code. So that transaction code would look like a alphanumeric. In some cases, it will be a complete alphabet, but it won't be a complete numerics like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It won't be like, it will be a alphanumeric or a alphabet, something like that. Example, you can see down SU01, which means SU is a alphabet, 01 is a numerics. The same way, the combination you see ME23N, ME is a alphabet, 23 is a numeric, and again with the combination of alphabet. Next case, if you see PFCG, which means all are alphabet, no numerics involved in that. Likewise, the transaction code would look like this only. So now, first step, as I said, if you want to log into the any system, we need a client. But actually, this is not our responsibility. The basis administrator, their responsibility to create a new client for us and provide the details to security team. But since you should also aware of that client creation, it is not, we are not going to do this client creation in any of the organization. That is a responsibility of the basis team. But since I am going to give you a knowledge on how the client is created, like generally how they create a client, local client or whatever it is. So as I said, for creation of client in SAP, these are the transaction codes we follow. You can note it down. To see a client overview, what are all the client available in the system, we have to use the transaction code SCC4. If you want to do a local client copy, which means copying from the golden client 000 to 100 or 200 or 500 or 600, whatever it is, we use the transaction code SCCL. So if we want to do a remote client copy, what is remote client copy? The local client copy is something copying the client from a same environment to the same environment. But remote copy is something copying a client from other environment to this another environment. It is not the local one. From one system to another system, we can keep it that way. If I am doing any client copy within the system, that is local client copy. If I want to do a client copy from other systems to my system, then it is remote client copy. And if you want to delete a client, we have to use a transaction code SCC5 for client deletion, and client import and client export. That comes with the SCC7 and SCC8. And local transport within one client to another client. If you want to move your changes, we use the transaction code SCC1. SCC1 is the transaction code which helps you to move your changes, whatever the changes. For example, you've done some changes in 100 client. From 100 client to, you have to move the changes to 200 client with the same system. In this case, this SCC1, you will use it. So you all noted down this information. Should I move forward? So, okay, silence, I again take as a positive way, I move forward. So let me share my screen. I'll stop sharing and I'll share again. So once you're able to see my screen, you tell me. So guys, we will also discuss all the real-time scenarios in the coming sessions. It is just an introduction to you, to at least you should aware like what we are doing, what kind of activities we are going to perform, everything. So my real-time experience, everything I'll share in coming days. But slowly, I don't want to go very fast. So I'll go a little slow so that I make sure like at least you guys understand what I'm trying to give as an input to you. So you able to see my screen? Anyone can confirm?
Yes, we can able to see.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay. So what I said, like to log into the SAP system, we need a SAP logon pad. So this is an SAP logon pad. With the help of this SAP logon pad, we will log into the system. So here you see the name. For example, I choose this, anyone, like to make you understand the simple way. So this what happened, they given the description. This is related to a GRC system. In the real time, how it looks like GRC development means they will mention as a development environment, something like a description to easily understand. And a system ID. This system ID would be configured during the implementation. So this would be like SID. They generally say in a shortcut like SID. So this would be a alphanumeric, the same way, like GRC or GR9, whatever it may be, depends upon the business requirement. They will set it during the implementation. And instance number. This instance number is one of the important thing which help you to connect from GUI to the SAP server. And this is also a main thing called application server, which application server we are going to log in with the IP address. So without this information or input, this GUI would not work. Okay. For example, I'll try to log into this system. So you have an option, just select either one where you want to go and click on log on here, or you can do a double click here. Anything would work. Okay. As I said, you see there are client called, these are the client with the numerics 3-digit. You cannot enter more than 3-digit. 1 2 3 4. No, it won't. Only 3-digit you can insert in this client. That is first point. And username. As I said, the username, we have to create whoever the employees in the organization, and we have to provide them a password. So we also need a password to log in. And finally, you see there is a logon language that is called, this is the place where you can change. See, English is a default language. Apart from English, if any user want to log in, we have several languages in the SAP, like even Chinese, German, French, Polish, many languages are there. I think so. Some Indian languages are also, like Hindi, I guess. They have already implemented in SAP. But as we know English, generally we would go log in using the EN. EN stands for, the code stands for English. Likewise, each and every language there is a code, a two character code. It may be like, for example, German means TE, French means FR, Polish means PO, something like that. So using this 4 inputs, the fourth one is not a mandatory, it would be a default English, but first 3 is a mandatory. If you don't give the first 3 information correctly, then you cannot log into the system at all, SAP system at all. So let me try to log in. So I go with the 990. This is my client number, okay, which is given by the business, and my username. Generally, how it looks like, all the organization will not maintain the same kind of user IDs. It may be a different way. It also be alphanumeric or alphabet, or mostly it won't be a complete numeric user ID. Sometimes they will keep, like for example, KK, example I'm saying, my employer ID, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, as a username. But some organization, they will keep like my first name and my last name, something like that. Something like that they will keep. It depends upon the business, whatever they want to do. But here already I have I already have the user ID as an admin 001, and I have to give the password for this. So once I given the password, I just click on enter, or you can click this tick button. Either one would work. So it has allowed me to log into the system. So this is an SAP system, it looks like. So this is the command field where you will type all the transaction codes. Whatever I told you before, like I showed some example, SU01, PFCG, ME21N, something like that, the code, all kind of codes you will type it here in this box. You see the buffer, you see these many codes are already used in this systems. Okay, so first as I said, to create a client, we saw like SCC4 is a transaction. I type SCC4 as a transaction. Okay, then I click enter, or we can click here, either one. I click enter. It took me to the screen. This screen tells about a display view about the client overview. This is just a client overview. Initially, whenever SAP system is implemented, you only able to see 000, 001 and 066. These are the clients created by the basis administrators. Uh, depends upon the business requirement, but generally it is a test system. That is a reason, like in real time you don't see these many clients. Hardly you see some in development system, hardly you can see 2 or 3 clients. In quality environment also 1 or 2, and production there would be only 1 client, not more than 1 client. Production environment, we will not have any more than 1 client. For example, if I maintain my development environment as a client 100, And the same I will follow in the quality environment also, 100. And same I will follow in the production environment. But for testing and for doing an additional developments, I might need an additional clients in the development and the quality environment. That is possible. But production environment is a live data. We cannot keep more than one client, even in the pre-production environment also. I said development, quality, and some organization, they also have a pre-production environment. Even pre-production environment would replica the same production environment. It also doesn't have more than one clients. So the client looks like this only. This is just an overview. You have a display change button here. So it is giving you a warning saying like caution, the table is cross client. If you do any changes, it won't affect to one client. It will affect the entire clients in the system. So make sure whatever changes you are doing, you have a proper approval. So now it is in a change mode. So just for an example, I'm not going to, I'm just show you an example, but generally this is not our task at all. We generally don't do this is a complete responsibility of the basis team. But as a SAP consultant, you should also aware of this process. That's why I'm explaining you. For example, here you have an option called new entries. Okay, I click on new entries. So here I can give 3-digit anything apart from 001, 001, and 066. If that client is already exists in the system, I cannot use the same client. I have to give something which is not exist in the system. For example, I just give some 555. Okay, as my client, the production client number. So I should mention like some description here. What kind of description? Like maybe this is specific to the ECC environment or GRC. For example, this is a GRC system. GRC production. GRC production environment as a description of this client. So next, so which city we are from? Maybe like we keep like anything like Bangalore. Bangalore. If the organization located in US or any specific US, any specific city like Atlanta or something like that, Chicago or something we can mention. It depends upon the requirement from the client. And the logical system. This I will come later. Maybe this is not the right time to explain about the logical system. I'll come back with the next session with the logical system, what it is. And currency. Currency is like what kind of currency we use. Generally, if you click here, you have a radio button here next to this. So these are the currencies, like all the countries' currency you will have. It will indicate in the 3 characters. For example, if you take India, it should be indicated with the INR. INR stands for India. So see here, INR, India. So if you're working for a French company, then you have to find for the French currency, something like that. Where you're working, accordingly, you will have the option here to select, find from here. So I choose INR just for a demo purpose only. Okay. Here you have an option called client role. The client role is very important. So you see a different types of client role, which server you're going to do it. First, you're planning to create a production server or a test server or demo. Demo server is a quality server or customizing server or training and education purpose or SAP reference. Which kind of server you're going to create? That is a client role. So generally, we just make it as a production. We are going to create one production. First, everything, each and every time, production development also, we have to do this task, and the quality system also the same we have to do in the production. We cannot do any transport in between this. So separately, we have to run this client creation. For example, I choose the production, which means my environment is a production. Okay, the next is a next you see change and transport for client specific objects. This is one of the important thing. It is indicating the 4 options. The change transport, what it is mean, like your, for example, if you keep this as a development environment or test environment, so custom development is nothing but a customizing. Customizing is called development environment. Test is nothing but a quality environment. Production is the our live data would exist in the production environment. Demo system is something like a sandbox system. It is technically called as sandbox system, where you can do some testings in the demo systems and make sure what we are doing is correct. Then we will implement that in the real systems. Training and education system is something like I told, like IDES. That is which will have a sample data. With the help of that sample data, we can use that for our day-to-day activities. And SAP reference. This is for SAP team to do. So we are not going to do anything with this. So if it is a production environment, we don't require any changes. Whatever changes we do in the development environment, only those changes would be pushed to the quality and the production environment. So in this case, changes without automatic recording. If we choose this option, changes without automatic recording, which means if you do any changes, what will happen? It will not record. It will not automatically record. If you choose the second option, automatic recording of changes, which means whatever changes you do, it will be captured. It will prompt you for the transport request. In this case, the changes without automatic recording, it won't prompt you for any transport request. So this will prompt you for the transport request, whatever you change, whatever changes you've done, so that you can capture the changes in the transport request. And no changes allowed would be the third option. And the fourth, changes without automatic recording and no transport allowed. So since it is we are choosing this as a production environment, what would be your choice? Do we do any changes in a production environment or not? Anyone can answer. Right or wrong, no problem. Yes or no? Do we do any changes in the production environment? Yes, no? No one will answer. Please speak. No participants. They left already. Guys,
No changes required.
what, Bhargav? Sorry.
No changes required.
No changes required. Okay. You mean to say, like in production environment, generally we don't do any changes.
Yes.
Good. He is right. So what we generally keep, so no changes allowed. So production environment, we don't require any changes. So we choose. For example, if you are creating a development environment, development client, in this case, automatic recording of changes we have to enable, because whatever the changes you do, it should be recorded, automatically record the changes, and that will be captured in the transport request. So that is the option of here. And next, if we go across client object changes. So here also, if you see the drop downs, we have the 4 options. Changes to the repository and the cross-client customizing is allowed. So generally in the development environment only, changes to the repository and the cross-client customization will be allowed. In the production environment, we should not allow anything. No changes to the cross-client customizing allowed. No changes to the repository is allowed. No changes to the repository and the cross-client is customizing is allowed. So in production environment, we should not have the access to do any changes. Whatever changes you want to do, you have to do it from the development and you have to push it to the production. Okay. And if we see a client copy and the comparison tool production, it is nothing but if I click on the drop down, again you see three options: protection level 0, protection level 1, protection level 2. So which means protection level 0 stands for no restrictions. Whatever you want, you can do it. Protection level 1 is no overwrite. So you cannot overwrite anything. And protection level 2 is no overwrite, no external availability. Generally, they keep as a no overwrite the production level 1 in the production environment, which means you cannot do any overwrite in the production environment. If you keep 0, it will be no restrictions. Whatever thing you can do, whatever thing you want to do, you can do. So the protection level 2 is no overwriting, no external availability. So we can go with this also. Most of the organization, they prefer to not change this. They keep it as a 0 only. But generally, as per a standard thing, we have to choose either 1 or 2. But generally, in the real time, they keep it no restrictions only. Why? Because something we are doing in the development environment and we push it to the production environment. Later, we come to know the whatever changes we pushed, it is wrong. We have to correct it again. In this case, what we have to do again, we have to correct the changes in the development environment, move to the quality, do the testing, and again we have to push back. In that case, if we keep as a no restrictions, so it will override the actual one to the correct one. So that's why they keep the protection level as a 0. And this is related to the CAT and E. These are the something like testing tools. These many tools are available for the testing, but generally very less organization, they use this ECAT and CAT. Normally they use a separate testing tool for their organization generally. So we can keep this as a default. ECAT and CAT is allowed. So you also see some not allowed or allow some. It depends upon the organization again. If they want to go with this ECAT and the CAT testing, they will keep it as an allowed. But if they are not going with this restrictions, they can keep as a not allowed. So this restrictions you see lock due to client copy, protection against the SAP upgrade. If in case you are doing any upgrade for the system, your changes should not be affected. So that's why upgrade is what like the system is already exist, but we have to move from one version to the another version or any support pack upgrade, something we are doing. In this case, our customizing data should not affect. So to protect, we will keep this as a protect against SAP upgrade, so that our changes would not affected, only the SAP standard changes would affected with the newly done the changes with the new changes. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'll just going to save. Just we'll see whether I have an access. I don't know. Just we are trying. So what information? This is the place where you will get all the messages, like whatever, either it is a positive message or negative message, everything you can see in this bar. So now it is saying the data saved, which means you see, you can click on the view details. It is saying the all changes that were only made in memory, everything it is in memory, were written on the database. Okay, this is just an information for us. So what I do, I'll go back and I will search for my client. So where is my client? What I created? 555. So this is my client, Bangalore, and it is created today, 2710. Okay, so once I create this 555 client, the next my step is I have to log in with this 555 client using SAP star as a password and pass as a password, SAP star as a username and pass as a password. So let me try, because I'm not sure whether they have given me an access. They would 100% restrict it, but still we will try. So I created the 555. So I'm going, this 555 is created. I'm logging in as a 555 client. So as I said, I'm going to use SAP star as a username and pass PASS as a password. Not sure. Okay, it is working. So 555 is the client and SAP star as a username, and I use the password as PASS pass. So which means I logged in to the, see here the information. GR8 is the server from which, what is the client name and client number is 555. Okay, I logged into 555 now. So this is the client. This client will not have anything. Now we have to make sure we copy all the data. How do we do? Using the local client copy. Yes, CCL is a transaction code for local client copy. When I try this, a target client is a production client and protect against a client copy. So this client is a production client, so it is protected against the client copy. Why it is not allowing me? I have already restricted this in the during I create this, I have already restricted this as a production, so it is not allowing me. So when we click exist, so what we can do then, again we go here, we try to change this. For example, I select, sorry, 555. So now what I have to do now? What changes I have to do? Here transport we are not going to do, but here cross client object, no changes to the repository. So I have to allow changes to the repository and cross client is allowed. Okay. So which means if I allow this, it should allow me to go forward. We'll see. Changes to the repository and the cross client customizing is allowed. And no changes are okay. Changes without automatic recording. I'll choose this also. We will change it later. So I'll click on save. So I come out of this. I again go to the screen. I will log in again. So what is my client number is 555, and what is this SAP star and pass as a password. Okay, logged in. Maybe again I will try. Okay, let yes. What it will say. Okay, it is showing the same. 1 minute. Let me go. Yes, CCL. It's a local client copy. You see, it's a, since I don't have access in a GRC system, like security ECC system, I just logged into the GRC. So I click on SCCL transaction code, target list production. Okay. So again, it is not allowing me. Why? So they have restricted it, like the client copy, we should not do it. That is a reason, like they restricted this one. We cannot do client copy, but at least I will try to explain how it. For example, if I change this to development also, it won't allow. Customizing, I save. Then I come back. Maybe we'll try one more time. Last. So as I said, this is not our task, but you should aware of it. That's why. So now it is allowed. How it is allowed me? What change I done it? Since I kept as a production environment, it has not allowed me. Why you are going to do changes in the production? So later, once I change that production to the development environment, is allowed me. You guys got it? Okay. Now you see the target client. Target client is something like what we created, that is 555. And we also have a profiles. What kind of profiles we are going to choose while doing the client copy? So if you click on this radio button side, you will have these many profiles. SAP underscore all, SAP underscore APPL, which means SAP underscore all is something like all client specific data without change document. This APPL is something like customizing an application data without change document. And APPX is application without authorization profiles and roles. And CUST cust is customizing. CUSV is customizing and user variants. CUSX is customizing without authorizations and profiles. PROF is only authorization profiles and roles, nothing other than this. And UCSV is customizing user master records and user variants. Likewise, you see, these are the profiles. Specifically, when we are in a real time, we 99% we prefer to go with the SAP underscore customizing. So if you choose SAP underscore customizing, so it will help you to do the customization as per your business need and requirement. So we are going to do as per the business requirement, we are going to do some customization. So that's why we choose as a customizing. Here, the source client would be, as I said, always prefer to go with the 000. Even though you have 001, it is just a copy, but either one we can go. You can either choose 000 or 001. Either one is good. But preferably first we go with the 000 only. It's a golden client. Using this, you can schedule this in a background or start immediately. You have an option called test run. If you check this and start immediately, it will not create any client, but it will check whether your system have the ability to create a client, whether it has a needed space, or whether your system have proper required softwares to complete this sessions, this client copy. So this test run, generally in the real time, first they will go for a test run so that they make sure there is no problem. We are good to go. Once they run this test run, it will give you the result, right? Your system is ready now. You can start with the creation of the client. In that case, you just remove this. Again, it's always better to schedule in the background. You have an option, start immediately. It will start. It will ask, okay, can I start immediately? If you click okay, it will start. But standard advices, SAP standard advises us to schedule it in the background, because there are a lot of the profile is one, only SAP underscore cust, but it has a lot of data, high volume of data. If you schedule in the foreground, sometime it might get crashed, or sometime it may not copy the complete inputs. It will stop in between. So if you schedule it in the background, it will take at least some 1 hour or 45 minutes, depends upon how much data that SAP environment has. Accordingly, what will happen? It will complete the creation of this client. Then later we can go and log in with this client with SAP star, and we have to create a users. For example, we have some 3-4 members in our team. Like I can create all these people's ID, like Bhargav or Bhargavi, Naresh, and Sudhakar, Vasu. Everyone's ID I can create with this 000, logging with the 555 client using SAP star. Once I created, I have to give the password to them. Using that password, they will log into the system and they will do. For example, Bhargav is a developer. He will do all this development activity. Bhargav and Bhargavi is also a developer. They both will do a development activity as per the client requirement. From there, again, they will pass on to the Naresh. He is the quality tester. He is a tester who tests in the quality environment. And once they both do a testing, they will push it to the production environment. Their production environment, the end users who need a real-time data, they would log into the system and they will check everything. Whatever the customization you've done, it is as per our need or whatever it is. Guys, it's understandable. And again, I'm saying this is not our task. This would be handled by the basis team, but you should aware of it. That's the reason I was just explaining it. Sometime in an interview, they might ask this. So you got it? No, I'm not going to schedule it. If I schedule, it will take 1 hour to complete, but we don't require also to schedule. Just to make you understand, I have shown this. Guys, any questions? No questions?
No, all good.
Good. So if you know completely, no one will ask questions. If they don't understand anything also, they won't ask questions. I think you all are in the first category. You understood, right? Don't hesitate. Like if in case you feel like something you want me to stop, you just stop me, like so that I will clarify your doubts. Now, our first step we have completed, creating a client. How we have to create a client, I have showed you. Maybe slowly we will start to know how we create the users in the systems by tomorrow. Is it fine for all?
Okay.
So we are good to close for today.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I have one more questions. Is it something like you all are comfortable to have a little early, like 7:30 to 8:30 tomorrow in the morning, or at least evening batch? If you are preferably okay, then we can go with the evening batch also.
No, we'll go for a morning only, if anything.
Okay, morning would be preferable. So is it okay? We'll
Yeah.
connect by 7:30,
Yeah.
7:30 to
I'm okay,
8:30.
but we can check with others also.
Guys, at least you can tell, you can open your mouth. Others, you're okay to start with 7:30, because if we start 8 again, everyone is connecting by 8:15 only. So at least if we start by 7:30 or at least 7:20, if we start log in also, at least by 7:30, everything is everyone is ready to connected. We can start and we can at least wind up by 8:30 or 8:40 something. All are okay with it? Morning 7:30 to 8:30. Okay, so some information I got. 9
Actually,
a.m.
KK, they have pinged in chat. You can check that.
Okay, okay, I saw. 9 a.m. Bhargavi, okay. 9 a.m. again Sudhakar. 9 a.m. or evening? But evening, okay. Bhargavi, okay. Sudhakar 9 a.m. Okay, many people are 9 a.m. Okay, so how we can, either we'll start by 9 to 10 or 7:30 to 8:30 or evening. Evening, I think so. Naresh is not.
No,
Okay with
because
the
my
Yeah,
shift will be
evening, by
started by
evening, from
4:30.
okay from me as well. Okay.
who?
Bhargav.
Bhargav is okay.
Yeah.
Only Naresh have a problem, I think.
Yeah, because my shift will be start by 7:30. Evening 4:30. So
Oh, okay, okay. You start
it's okay.
4:30 in the
Okay for
evening.
9 a.m. also no issues for me. Morning.
And
Morning any
Naresh, sorry, Naresh, your voice is breaking. Morning, any time is fine for you. 9 a.m. you're saying.
yeah,
Others are okay with
morning
9
any
a.m.
time.
Yes.
Okay, better we'll go start with the morning 9 a.m. from tomorrow. Is it fine?
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you for your time. Yeah, have a wonderful day, all of you.